Hey and welcome, I'm Lorelai of Namasturm Yoga. This is just going to be a little easy, flowing, all levels vinyasa practice. Let's actually start today in a standing forward fold. So take your feet about hip distance apart, soften your knees, and just let the upper body hang and dangle. You can loosen up the back of the neck by nodding and shaking the head. If your hands hit the floor, grab your elbows and sway a little from side to side. Do not worry about straightening the legs here. This should be relaxed and easy. Roll your shoulders around a little if you want to bounce your knees, sway the torso. Anything that feels good here. And then let go of your elbows if you've got them. And we're going to roll up to standing, but come up really slow. So try to think of stacking your spine so that you're rolling up smoothly, evenly. The arms dangle, the head hangs. Eventually the shoulders fall into place and the head comes up on top of the neck last of all. And then roll the shoulders back and down a couple of times. So we're starting standing today just to kind of get right into a little sense of flow. Walk to the top of your mat or face one end of your mat. Have your feet still about hip distance apart and let's reach the arms out and up. And then on an exhale, let yourself forward fold over the legs, lead with the heart. When you get to the bottom of the forward fold, bend your knees a lot more and once again, rolling up through the spine and then reach the arms at the top of that and then forward fold. Let's try to follow the breath here. So you can start to incorporate your Ujjayi breathing practice. Inhales are going to bring you all the way up to unroll. Exhale, lead with the heart and forward fold. Bend the knees, inhale, rolling on up. And exhale, forward fold. And hopefully you're familiar with the Ujjayi breathing, but if you're not, basically it involves a slight narrowing of the back of the throat so that you can hear the breath move in and out. Little rushing sound, and it's also a steady, even breath. So if it's brand new to you, don't worry too much about it, but the idea is that the movement of the body and the movement of the breath are connected and we're using them together. We're going to just do this one more time. Reach the arms out and up, and then forward fold over the legs. And we're back here where we started. And if you're not all the way at the top of the mat, go ahead and take yourself there so we can step the right foot easily back, but we really want to try to get it back as far as possible. Take the right knee down and we're coming to a low lunge. We're going to extend the toes behind, and as you bring the upper body up, sink the hips forward and reach the arms up. Option to lean a little bit back to take it to a slight back bend, but don't crunch up the low back to do that. You might find that your right hip is almost over your knee, but if you can lunge it forward a little bit more, go for it. And then let's take the hands to the floor. Take your left knee to meet the right, and we're gonna walk the hands back in a little bit. So now we're in tabletop, and we're gonna do a couple cat-cow stretches. Inhale. This is cow pose with a sway back. And then exhale, cat pose with the arched spine. Just warming up the spine, nice and gentle here. But we are flowing with the breath, and that really is the heart of a vinyasa practice. So the vinyasa sequence is sort of specific. It's sort of that middle part of a sun A where we go from high plank to low plank to back bend to down dog. But a vinyasa practice really is just a flowing practice where we connect the movement of the body to the movement of the breath. So that's going to be the focus for today. We're going to take it nice and easy, but we're going to flow with the breath the whole time. Walk your hands forward a little bit more toward the front of the mat. So you're in a kind of a longer tabletop. Have your shoulders right over the wrists and then slowly lower your chest down between the hands. From here, let's go ahead, take the arms by the sides and following the breath here on an inhale, Lift your legs in your upper body. Rise to a little back bend. Exhale. Let it go. Maybe forehead comes to the floor. Inhale. Come on up. Exhale. Let it go. Inhale. Come on up. Exhale, lower down, really just again warming things up here. Now this time, inhale, come on up, hold for an extra breath, and then go ahead and bend your elbows, bring your hands next to the sides of your chest. Press into the hands to lift the upper body and roll onto the tops of the legs for Cobra Pose. Cobra Pose is a small back bend. The low body should be entirely on the floor. Just the upper body is up a little bit. The elbows are still bent, and if you need to bend them even more to make sure that the shoulders are down and away from the ears and the heart is forward, that's fine. Now from here, we're gonna stay on our knees, bring our hips back to our heels, child's pose. But keep the fingers spread really wide and keep the forearms off the floor. So this is a little bit of an active child's pose. Head is down, hips to the heels. And then lift the hips up a little bit. See if you can tuck your toes underneath you so that the balls of the feet are like starting to reach back behind you. And then reach into the hands, press them down. Lift the knees up off the floor and come into your first downward facing dog. Take a little time, bend one knee, let the opposite leg straighten, and then switch to the other side. Not rushing here, maybe taking one breath on one side and then going to the other side. The hands push into the mat, pushing it forward and down. The hips lift up. The heart moves back towards the thighs. And then let's look to the front of the mat, step, walk, or you can hop forward if you're up for it. All the way back to the top. This time, let's bring our big toes to touch. Heels are going to be slightly apart. Bring your fingers to your shins. Push in, flat back, reach the head away from the tail. And then exhale, fold down over the legs. Now, instead of bending the knees and rolling up as we did before, we're going to try to float up with a flat back. Reach the arms out and up and palms together in front of the heart. Let's inhale, reach the arms. Exhale, forward fold. And now, with the fingers to the floor, let's step the left foot back. So we're going to get to that lunge on the second side. I know we did a bunch of things in the middle, but we do ultimately need to work symmetrically in the body. Take the left knee down, extend the toes. Right knee is above the ankle. So if you find that your right foot is kind of under you and the knee is way forward, see if you can fix that. So make sure that you've got a vertical shin here. Come on up, sink the hips forward, arms up. Breathe. This is a low lunge. Now from here, we're going to take the hands to the floor, step the right knee to meet the left, and let's lower the chest right down to the floor. And then inhale, we're going to just sweep up into a cobra pose. Exhale, come to downward facing dog. Breathing in downward facing dog. Maybe taking a moment again to pedal through the feet. Lift the heels up and let's go ahead and take the right leg up into the air. Let yourself open the hip and bend the top knee, pointing the knee to the sky, rooting the hands down. Level out your shoulders. Now, let's go ahead and try to level out the hips and straighten out the leg so that the toes flex down and the thigh faces the floor, and then just slide that right foot right back into place in down dog. And then the other side, so take the left leg up. Open the hip and bend the top knee so it feels like we're stretching the front of that left quad. The knee points to the ceiling, the hips twist, but the shoulders stay level. And then change it around so that we're going to straighten out the leg, level out the hips, the toes flex down, the thigh faces the floor, and then as you bring that foot down, it should just slide right back into place in down dog. Look to the front of the mat, step, walk, or hop the feet forward between the hands. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Fingers to shins, take a half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold down deep, and then reverse swan dive. Come on up. And palms together in front of the heart. We're actually going to take a couple of sun C's here, which I love as a really nice kind of warm-up vinyasa practice. We're going to go one breath per movement. We've already done all of the involved poses, so I'll talk you through the first one, but then if your breath is moving a little faster or slower than mine, you can take it at your own pace. Let's start with palms together in front of the heart. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive forward over the legs. We're going to step the right foot back and lower the right knee, and then your inhale is right to that low lunge. As you exhale, hands come to the floor, left knee steps back, and chest lowers between hands. Inhale, come to a cobra pose, and then exhale all the way to downward facing dog. Now inhale, we're going to step the right foot forward and take the low lunge on the other side. So make sure that foot makes it all the way to the front of the mat. Inhale. And then exhale, step the back foot forward, come back to forward fold at the front of the mat. Reverse swan dive, come all the way up. And we complete it with palms together in front of the heart. But that's really only half of the sun C. We do the same thing again, but this time leading with the left leg. So inhale. Exhale, fold over the legs. Now the left leg leads, so it's going to step back and the knee's going to lower. You're inhaling to your low lunge. As you exhale, hands come to the floor, right knee steps back and chest lowers. Inhale to cobra pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. You're inhaling to your low lunge, left foot comes forward, right knee goes down, come up. Exhale, step to the front of the mat in a forward fold. Reverse swan dive and palms together in front of the heart. Let's do that whole thing one more time. So leading with the right and then leading with the left. Follow the breath. Inhale. Exhale to fold. Right foot back. Inhale to low lunge. Exhale, coming to the floor. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right foot steps forward, low lunge. Exhale to Uttanasana, or forward fold at the top of the mat. Inhale, reverse the swan dive. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Keep it flowing for the other half. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale the left foot back, body up. Exhale, hands to the floor, lower the chest. Inhale to cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step the left foot forward, inhaling low lunge. Exhale, forward fold at the top of the mat. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Let's keep flowing, but we're going to change it. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Now we're going to step the right foot back, but we're going to keep the knee up and come to crescent pose. So just take a few breaths here in this high lunge. Reach through the back leg, lunge into the front knee. So both legs are working in this pose, but they're working differently. So the back one is working to strengthen, lift, reach. The front one is working to bend, which is deepening the stretch in the hip. And then the upper body is vertical. Let's take it to an easy twist. So we're going to take the right hand to the floor, inside of the left foot, fingers and toes line up, left arm up. Stack the shoulders, gaze towards that top thumb. Breathe. Now turn to face the floor, plant your palms. Let's step to our first plank pose. Really try to reach through your back leg, so keep it very strong, and see if you can just kind of slide that left leg into place next to the right. Shoulders stay over wrists, strong through the core of the body. Head reaches forward, heels push back. Now from here, you can lower down your knees first, Or if you want to take a chaturanga dandasana, think about bending your elbows so that your shoulders move forward and you're lowering your torso and your whole body down all in one piece. And then inhale, elbows by the sides, space between ears and shoulders, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Root into the hands, lift up through the hips. And then inhale, look forward between the hands. Exhale, step, walk, or if you'd like, you can bend the knees and hop all the way back forward. Fingers to shins. Inhale, take a half lift. Exhale, folding down deep. Press the feet, reverse swan dive, come on up. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. And we'll do the other leg. So inhale, take the arms out and up. Exhale, take a long forward fold to Uttanasana. Now we're going to step the left foot back. So take it as far back as you can. Use all of your mat. The front knee stays over the ankle. It's very important for the safety of your knee. But then float your upper body up. Steady your balance by focusing your gaze at one point ahead of you. Energy through the fingers, but the shoulders are soft. Strong back leg. Engage your quad. Lift the underside of the back knee. Continue to lunge into the front knee. And then the left palm's going to come to the floor. The right arm's going to go up, twist, stack the shoulders, look on up. Breathe. Keep your knee over the ankle, turn back to the floor, plant the palms. Once again, stepping to plank pose. So do this with control and stability, and then lower down. Now this time, maybe lower all the way to the floor, but if you want to, you can lower chaturanga, and then just flip onto the tops of the feet, coming to upward facing dog, where the knees and thighs don't touch down. The hips still drop, but they're not touching the floor. Shoulders are back, heart is forward, gaze is up, neck relaxed. Take another breath here. Feet should be extended fully if possible. And then from here, see if you can push down as you start to lift the hips. Roll over the tops of the feet, flipping the toes. Come to your downward facing dog. Root into the hands, move the heart back, and breathe in down dog. Inhale, look to the front of the mat. Exhale, step, walk, or hop those feet forward between the hands. Inhale, take a half lift, flat back. This is Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, and then reverse swan dive. Come on up. It feels like we should take at least one sun A here, especially since we've done all of the poses. Let's just string them together, flow with the breath into one sun salutation A. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, long forward fold to Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And then right away, we're stepping to plank and lowering down. You can lower chaturanga or take knees to the floor. Inhale, either up dog or stick with cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog, and breathe. Hold, root into the hands. If you ever need to replace your down dog with child's pose, that is also okay. So you could take knees to the floor to give yourself more of a rest here. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend the knees, step, walk, or hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold down deep, press the feet, reverse swan dive, come up. And exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Let's step to a wide-legged stance. So for me, I'm going to step my right leg open just because I want to keep facing you, but it might make more sense for you to step your left foot, so go to whichever side of the mat feels best for you. Parallel the feet, take your hands to your hips. We're just going to do a nice wide-legged forward fold. This is Prasarita Padottanasana. Lift your quads, lean in, and then take your hands to the floor. Maybe just fingertips, but if you can get the palms flat, let them come down. Lean in. Breathe. And then press the feet, bring the hands back to the waist, come on up. Let's pivot on the right heel to turn the right toes towards the short end of your mat. So for me, it's like kind of the back of my mat, but it may become the new front of my mat. Let your back toes turn in a little bit as well, but try to keep your hips pretty level here. Take your arms out at shoulder height. We're gonna bend into the front knee so that we're coming right to warrior two here. Want to make sure we're bending the knees right towards the toes, keeping the hips level and the shoulders over the hips. But we can look out over our front fingertips. Turn the front palm up. Take a reverse warrior. So stretch up and back. Keep lunging forward. And then we can come to extended side angle. Forearm to the thigh, top arm overhead alongside the ear. So this all involves the same lunge in that front knee. You can look up under your arm towards your fingertips. And then we're going to reverse warrior one more time, but this time we're going to straighten up the front leg and come to triangle pose. So all four of these poses can be done with the same foot position. Now this one, triangle, the front leg is straight. You can take your hand to your ankle or shin or back the hand to the inner shin, turn and look up towards your top thumb. And then breathe, come on up. And we're gonna go ahead and do a little sequence of these poses. So we're gonna go ahead and bend the front knee, exhaling into warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior again and straighten up the front leg. Exhale into triangle pose. And inhale, come back up. And let's just go ahead and change the feet here. So front heel and back arch lined up. This time we're going towards the left. Arms out at shoulder height. And we're gonna bend the left knee directly towards the toes. So we're really just establishing each pose for a few breaths the first time we get there. And then we're gonna get a chance to flow through them all with the breath. Look out over the front fingertips. And then when you're ready, turn the front palm up. Take a moment to reverse your warrior. Get used to stretching back while still lunging forward. And then forearm to the thigh for extended side angle. Top arm up and overhead alongside the ear. And then reverse again, and this time straighten the front leg, and let's move into triangle, Trikonasana. So maybe back the hand against the inner shin. Try to get the shoulders to stack. The torso is actually in the same plane as the leg, so we don't want the torso to be like forward where there'd be a gap between those two. So it's kind of like your shoulder is right over your knee. Look on up. And then let's come on up and start the flow. So inhale, bring yourself up, flip your palms down. Exhale to warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior, knee stays bent here. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior, straighten the front leg. Exhale to triangle pose. Inhale, come back up. And let's parallel the feet. We're going to do one more variation of Prasarita Padottanasana, which is our wide-legged forward fold. Take the hands behind the back, interlace your fingers. Pull your shoulder blades back, slide them down, and then lead with the heart. Forward fold into the space between your legs here. Reach the arms overhead, but keep your shoulder blades on your back. Lean in. Lift your quads. Lean your weight toward the balls of your feet. Head hangs down heavy. And then press the feet into the floor, rise back up, jump the feet together, and then step back to the top of your mat, whichever side that is for you. Bring the feet together, big toes touch, heels slightly apart, palms together. Let's flow back into a little sun A. We're gonna start to add on some of our standing poses and bring these bits together. So inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, take a long forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, fingers to shins, half lift, flat back. Exhale, stepping to plank, lower yourself down, and this might be chaturanga or knees to the floor. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's take the right leg up into the air, lift it up nice and straight. Look forward between the hands and step the right foot forward. Let's come up into crescent pose. So we've been here, but we're actually going to transition this to warrior one. So slightly step your left foot out to the side and pivot the back heel down. And that's basically the main difference between crescent and warrior one, is the back heel is down. But the challenge of it is that we want the back heel to go down without pulling the left hip back with it. So we're going to try to move that left hip back forward so the hips stay square. Continue to take the arms up, lunge into the front knee. And then if you want to lift the heart, bring the palms together, look up, you certainly can. Take one more inhale here, and then we're going to open into our standing poses we just did. Exhale, open to warrior two, adjust the back foot so front heel and back arch line up. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle, following your breath. Inhale, reverse it, straighten the front leg. Exhale to triangle pose. Inhale, come up, stretch all the way back if you can, and now as you exhale, take the hands to the floor, move through a vinyasa if you want to, and then find your way back to down dog. If skipping the vinyasa makes more sense for you, just get right to down dog, no problem. Take a breath or two here. Let's do the other side. So take the left leg into the air on an inhale, straight up. Exhale, step it forward. Again, come on up to your high lunge. So we're finding crescent pose with the front knee over the ankle, strong back leg. Step the left toes a little to the side, pivot that back heel down, and then come on up with the arms, root into the back heel, move your right hip forward. Try to keep your hips nice and level. Lunge deep, a lot going on, and then bring the palms together, maybe look up. This is an optional variation. And then we're going to move into the same little sequence of standing poses we did earlier. So take one more inhale here in warrior one. Exhale, open it to warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior, straighten that front leg so you can exhale to triangle. Inhale, reverse, stretching it back. And exhale, high to low plank, or you can step right to down dog if you want. Up dog or cobra, and exhale, down dog, and breathe. Root into the hands, lift the hips, move the heart back. Inhale, look to the front of the mat. Exhale, bend the knees, step, walk, or hop the feet forward. Inhale, take a half lift. Exhale, fold down deep, and let's reverse swan dive, come on up. We're gonna do one more little sequence flowing in and out of standing poses. This time we're gonna add in a little bit of balance practice as well. So we're gonna start with tree pose, standing on the right leg. We'll take the sole of the left foot either to the calf, and if you have trouble with balance, you can keep your toes on the floor or be near a wall or something you can hold on to if you need to put your hand against something. But if you can, take your foot to your calf. If you're more advanced, you can take your foot all the way above your knee to your thigh. Please don't have your foot against the inner edge of your knee though, because that's not super safe, again, for the knee. We are always trying to watch out for our knees. Press your palms. If you want to, if you can, take the arms up. Steady your gaze to help with your balance here. Now I'm going to turn back to face the end of my mat, but you're in tree pose, facing the end of your mat. We're going to use this pose, this balance pose, to flow into the other poses we've just done. So let's take the left knee now into the chest, flex the foot. We're actually going to flow through a warrior three. So we're not going to really hold it, but we're going to push the left foot back. And as we're doing that, the torso kind of levels out with the ground, and for a moment we can feel that sense of warrior three. But then bend the front knee, reach for the back of the mat with the left foot, inhale, warrior one, and we can do all our poses that we just did. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse the warrior, straighten the front leg. Exhale to triangle. But now, instead of coming out of this and taking a vinyasa, we're going to go to half moon pose. Take your left hand to your hip. Bend your right knee a little bit so you can reach the right fingers to the floor. If you have a block and you like to use a block for half moon, you can do that. If you don't have a block at home, you can use a book, but you may not need it at all. You could reach for the floor, and then we're going to try to lean all of our weight to our right leg so we can float that back leg up. Coming to half moon pose, reach through the heel, and then maybe take the top arm up. Breathe. And then from here, bend your front knee so you can take your left foot to the back of the mat again. Just turn to face the floor. Plant your palms, step your right foot back. Take a vinyasa here if you want to. You can take a modified vinyasa, or you could skip the vinyasa and go straight to downward facing dog. Continuing to flow with the breath. Breathe one more time. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step, walk, or hop the feet to the front of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold, and then reverse swan dive. Make your way up. And let's do all of this on the other side. So we're going to take tree pose, this time standing on the left foot. Sole of the right foot comes to the calf, above the knee to the thigh. Again, if you need to be near a wall, please find a way to make your balance safe. Palms press. If you want, you can reach the arms up. Balance is definitely assisted by gaze, so find a point ahead of you, something that's not moving, that you can just look at to help steady you if you wobble. Wobbling is normal, but we just need to be able to return ourselves. And then I'm going to turn to the front of my mat, but we're going to take the right knee into the chest, flex the foot, start to push the foot back, traveling through warrior three. So we're going really slow to level the torso out with the floor, which this capital T shape is like warrior three. And then bend your left knee so you can reach, get all the way to the back of the mat with that right foot. Inhale, warrior one. So the feet should be spread wide. Exhale, warrior two. Adjust the feet if you need to. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse again and straighten the front leg, and exhale, triangle pose. And then let's come to half moon on this side. So the right hand is going to come to your hip, bend the left knee, reach the left fingers forward, and then float up off that back foot. Push through the heel, maybe take the top arm up. Balance poses are something that we just have to work on. They will improve over time as your body gets used to what you're asking it to do. So if you're a little wobbly, if you fall, it's kind of part of the process. Don't be too discouraged. It just takes time and practice. And then from here, bend your front knees so you can try to get your right foot to the back of the mat, turn to the ground, plant your palms, and you can choose to take a vinyasa here or go straight to downward facing dog. And from downward dog, we're going to take the right leg into the air, open the hip and bend the top knee as we did earlier, and we're moving in for a stretch. So we're going to take that right knee forward behind the right wrist, let the shin cross the mat. Use the left toes to help you walk your left leg back it onto the top of the thigh. And we're coming down for pigeon stretch. We want to have the right knee a little to the right of the mat, and the right foot is actually on the left side of the mat. We want to avoid rolling all the way to the hip, so that there's no weight on the hip. The weight is like on your shin and on your back leg. We're on the back thigh. And then fold down, take your forearms to the floor. If your hip is determined to roll, put something underneath it. Just prop it up with a block, or you could use a book or something like that, or even like a cushion or something. And then fold down here, maybe forearms, But maybe start to walk the hands out. You might get your head to the floor. Take it where you need it. Breathe. And then come on up carefully with the upper body. Support yourself with the right fingers. See if you can bend the left knee behind you and reach back with the same hand for the foot. And then gently draw your left heel towards your hip to get a stretch for your left quad. When we do lunges, we're using our quads. We're building the muscles there. So we actually really do want to try to stretch that muscle out then after we've worked it. And anything, all of our warriors, our lunges, warrior 1, warrior 2, reverse warrior, extended side angle. Go ahead and let that foot go behind you. Take the hands to the floor. Let's step the right knee back to meet the left knee and lower the chest down between the hands, between sides of pigeon. We're just gonna do a little back bend on our bellies. So we're gonna take bow pose here. If you can, bend both knees now, reach back with the hands for the same, corresponding feet. And then press your pelvis down a little bit, lift your shoulders up, and then pull the heels away from the hips to move yourself up. And this is like a bow and arrow type of bow. If you want to go deeper and a little more challenging, you can lift your thighs up off the floor and reach the feet for the ceiling. And then let yourself go. Release on down. Take your forehead or an ear to the floor here. And then hands next to the chest, elbows by the sides. Roll on up to cobra. And exhale to downward facing dog. Let's do the other leg. So the left leg's gonna reach into the air, open the hip, bend the knee, point the knee to the sky. Heel drops to the right hip. Heart moves back. And then see if you can move your left knee forward behind the left wrist, shin across the mat. So again, the left foot is on the right side of the mat, the left knee is on the left side of the mat. So we don't want the knee like right in the middle because that would cause the foot to be right under us. We really do want the shin to cross the mat. Use your right toes to help walk the right leg back, get on the top of the thigh, extend your foot behind you. Avoid rocking to your hips. So much setup, I know, but once we get there, the stretch is so good. It's worth it. If you need to prop up your hip, do that on this side and then forearms to the floor. Breathe. You should feel the sensation in your hip. If you're feeling it in your front knee, that's not really the goal. So you can come to your back and do a modified version of this pose. Or again, just find a way to make it easy on your joints. That's not what we're trying to stretch. We're trying to get into the hips, which I guess that is a joint, but there's just tons of muscles running through that hip socket. If you can, walk the arms out. And then carefully come on up and we're gonna stretch the back quad. So this time it's the right. Support yourself with the left fingers, bend the right knee, reach back with the hand for the foot and draw the heel to the hip. And I know not everyone is easily able to reach this back foot. And if you can't, you can just leave the leg extended, but allow your body to be upright and you'll still get a stretch. And then let your foot release. Hands to the floor. Take your left knee back to meet the right, and one more time we're going to lower the chest down between the hands and take one more bow pose to get a little back bend practice. Back bends can feel challenging. They shouldn't feel painful though, right? So sometimes it feels like a really fine line between, oh wow, this is an intense sensation and this is actually painful. But part of your practice is to learn the difference. Because no one else can feel what you're feeling on the inside. So you want to know, like, okay, is this a good stretch? Am I feeling good? Okay, let's go another inch. Is it feeling hard? Well, that's okay. Is it challenging me? Well, that's okay. Is it causing me pain? Okay, I need to ease up. So we always sort of need to be in that place of mindful awareness, what the pose is actually causing in us as a sensation. Is it one that we want to stick with and see if we can endure it, or is it one that we really need to back off from? When you're ready to come down, lower it down, forehead or an ear to the floor. And then take your hands, plant them next to your chest, roll on up into cobra. And once again, we're going to be in downward facing dog. And you can shake out your legs here, kick through the heels, anything that would feel good to kind of, again, bounce them around, whatever feels nice. Inhale, look to the front of the mat. Exhale, step, walk, or you can hop your feet forward. But if you're feeling good, just go ahead and lower your hips down to the floor. We're going to come to our backs. We're going to flow a little bit on our backs, do just a little bit more work here before we wrap it up with a bit of forward folding. So coming down to the ground with the knees bent, we want the heels and hips a little bit of distance from each other. And we're actually going to flow in and out of almost a bridge, but we're just going to go with the flow. So following the breath, press the feet down. On an inhale, lift the hips up, reach the arms up and over simultaneously, stretching out long. Exhale, slowly move your spine back to the floor, one vertebra at a time, and then press the feet. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, slowly lower down. One more time. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, slowly lower down to the floor. And then from here, see if you can take the legs up into the air as you take the arms up overhead. And now exhale, knees to chest. Move into a little ball. Inhale, take the legs up, reach into an L. Try to keep your low back down here as you're doing this. Exhale, curl into a little ball. Inhale, take the legs up. Exhale, curl into a little ball. Now, let's see if we can string these two together, if it's possible. Inhale, take the legs up. Exhale, bring the feet back down by the sides and the arms by the sides. Press the feet down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower the spine back to the ground. Now inhale, we're going to take the legs straight into the air. Arms reach up and over. Exhale, curl into a little ball. Inhale, take the legs up. Exhale, bring the feet back to the floor as the arms come back. Inhale, lift the hips, reach the arms up and over. And exhale, slowly roll back down. And let's take it to a twist. Bring both knees into the chest. And I'm going to just shift over a little bit here. We're going to let the knees drop to the right. You can take your arms out like a T or like a cactus, however works for you. Take the knees to the right, but turn your head back to the left. And breathe. And then moving the legs back through center, let's take them over to the right, legs to the left and turn the head to the right. So twists should feel good, right? They're also really good in neutralizing for the spine after some back bending practice. They kind of bring us back to normal, and it's a good transition between back bends and forward folds, even though forward folds are actually the official counterpose of back bends. Come back to center, and we're going to rock up so that we can come and do a little bit of forward folding. So grab your shins, roll from shoulders to hips. Roll through the spine, try to keep it rounded. The last moment we're going to come up, we're going to try to come up to boat pose and just find a moment. This is the only boat pose we're going to do today. Lift the heart, but the shins are out long. This is some core work. We're balancing on our sit bones. And then if possible, reach for your feet just for fun. See what happens. Can you extend those legs up? If you roll back, you roll back. It's okay. Heart forward, shoulders back and down, and then maybe take those legs out nice and wide, extending. And then from here, we're going to go in the direction of Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. So we're going to take the feet together, letting the knees go wide, bring the heels in towards the hips, and then use the elbows, if you need to press the knees out a little bit. Now, if your knees really easily drop to the floor, your elbows might not even be reaching them. We also want to let the upper body start to fold. If you are using your elbows to gently press the knees down, I encourage you to push back up against the elbows with the knees just a little bit. So they're pushing against each other. Let the elbows win, but put up a little bit of a fight with the knees. And then move the knees back in, come on up. And the last thing we're going to do is just a very simple forward fold. So take the legs out, flex the feet. The legs are pretty much together, so they're parallel, but they don't have to be like exactly together. If there's a little space naturally between your legs, it's fine. The knees, we're working towards straightening them, but for some people they may be a little bent, and that's okay, especially if you're tight in the low back or really tight in the hamstrings. It might actually be easier to fold if your knees are somewhat bent, so don't hesitate if that's what you need to be able to get to the hamstrings. Whereas if we sometimes straighten the legs, if the low back moves back so much that we can't really get a stretch, then bend the knees a little bit. And then let yourself start to fold. The hands are going to come to the floor first. Engage your quads. Keep the feet flexed so the tops of the legs are nice and toned. And then breathe. Some of you will easily be able to reach for the feet, and that will feel comfortable for you, and that's fine. If you really want to reach the feet, but you cannot, please let go of that desire. It doesn't matter if you reach the feet or not. We want the arms to be relaxed. And if in trying to get the feet, you just are straining your arms and your wrists, you're not actually going to be able to relax the upper body and give into this forward fold very well. So let yourself be where you're at. Don't worry, don't fret. It doesn't matter. We're looking for a stretch, but we're also looking for the ease that we can find in forward folds. They come at the end of a practice for a reason. Well, a couple of reasons. One, we're warmed up. That stretch is usually more accessible. But two, forward folds tend to be calming. They tend to help us, just with that idea that we're going to release now at the end of the practice. Let's take about 3 more breaths. And then when you're ready to come up, walk the hands in, bring your spine back up. Let's cross the legs. All right, so we didn't even sit at the top of practice. Now is the moment we have to actually come to an easy cross-legged position. And we'll finish here as well. I do encourage you, however, if you've got an extra couple minutes, to come to your mat, lay flat on your back, and give yourself a little shavasana time. So corpse pose is really a great way to wrap up your practice. But for now, let's bring palms together in front of the heart. Close your eyes. Tune into your breath. You can let go of your Ujjayi practice and just come to a natural breathing rhythm. Notice how you're feeling. And we'll close with a simple bow forward. The light in me recognizes and honors the light in you wherever you are. Thank you so much for coming into my home and joining me today. Namaste. Thank you so much. I hope to see you next time. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you know when new videos are posted, if you hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. And don't hesitate to share with others that you think might appreciate the practices. If you have questions or comments, leave them for me as well. I'd love to check it out, and see you next time.